Just when I didn't think that one you could actually make the Bleak Watcher stronger, then go out and release this, the Rime called Raiment, an exotic that's all about making the Bleak Watcher better, and also just give you a couple more slows on top of that. So today we're going to be making the build with it on the Prismatic Warlock, because there's a couple of interactions on the artifact that I really like, and I think we're going to kind of focus on that. And the two things that you're going to need for this build are going to be the actual new exotic, the Rime called Raiment, and also the Thunderlord. As long as we have those two things, you'll be able to make this build work, so let's get into it. So first we actually gotta start with new exotic, with his exotic perk, Bleak Domain. Your Bleak Watcher turrets are enhanced with extended range and are surrounded by stasis crystals and a storm. While standing in the storm, you're granted icicles over time. Icicles activate when you fire your weapon, applying slow to targets they hit. So our Bleak Watcher is gonna have extended range, and also if we stand in the storm that it creates around it, we're gonna be able to slow targets with our weapons. And this leads to you being able to freeze even more things. The Bleak Watcher is going to be slowing them freezing, while at the same time you with your weapons are going to be slowing them freezing and also doing some damage. So you actually kind of want to use the exotic a little bit different than you usually use the Bleak Watcher. Usually I just kind of toss it in the middle of enemies. But now, since we want to stand in that storm, we actually kind of want to throw it closer to us so we can stand in there, take advantage of the slows, and the increased range means that I will still be able to hit enemies that are pretty far away. That's pretty much the way that I ended up playing with it. Place down my turret, maybe a healing rift on top of it, and you're pretty much just able to hold back just waves of enemies in one spot with you and your turret both slowing things. It is pretty fantastic, and it makes you like a one-man army just defending a whole area by yourself. Now for our subclass, we are going to be on the Prismatic Warlock, and I would recommend that you either run Winter's Wrath or Song of Flame for your super. The both are going to be pretty good. I think I like Song of Flame a little better over Winter's Wrath, but they both are going to work pretty well. Now for our class ability, while I really like the Phoenix Dive, usually on the Warlock, this is one of those times that I would definitely recommend one of the rifts. Either the Healing Rift, if you feel like you want some more healing, or the Empowering Rift for the extra damage. The rifts just pair up so well with the Bleak Watcher Storm, so that's something that you definitely want to go with. Now for your melee, you definitely want to go with the Arcane Needle. You get more charges, meaning that you can use it more often, and it also unravels targets, meaning that they're going to be able to take more damage, and whenever they die, they turn into a tangle, giving us even more ad clear. Now for our grenade, I was actually on the healing grenade, just because it's like the lowest base cooldown grenade, meaning that we get it more often, meaning that we can throw more stasis turrets out there. That's pretty much it. Now moving on to the aspects, the first one, of course, is going to be the Bleak Watcher, no surprises there. And our second aspect is going to be Feed the Void. Whenever we defeat any target with an ability, we're going to gain Devourer. And whenever we have Devourer, we're going to get health and grenade energy back whenever we get some kills. So this is going to both help us survive, as well as spam more grenades, thanks to all that grenade energy we're going to have with Devourer. As long as there's ads to kill, we're always going to be getting back a ton of energy, so we're always going to have a grenade, so we can throw out more turrets. Now moving on to the fragments, the first one we're going to have is going to be the Facet of Protection. Whenever we're surrounded by combatants, we are more resistant to incoming damage. This is going to give us 15% damage resistance, and whenever we activate our Transcendence, that gets bumped up to 25%. This one's always going to be good, especially when there's a lot of enemies around, you're just harder to kill. The next one is going to be the Facet of Command. Whenever we freeze or suppress the target, it's going to reload equipped weapons, and also give us increased weapon stability, aim assist, and airborne effectiveness, as well as whenever we defeat a frozen or suppressed target, we're going to get some stasis shards, as well as void breaches. The stasis shards are going to give us some melee energy back, as well as activate crystalline converter from the artifact, which is going to make those stasis shards into stasis crystals. Next up, we're going to have the Facet of Solitude. This is going to sever targets whenever we land some rapid precision hits. This is going to be great against some of the bigger enemies. We're going to lower the damage, as well as being able to make them into tangles to get more ad clear after we kill them. After that, we're going to have the Facet of Dawn. Power melee hits make you radiant, and power melee final blows make you and your allies radiant. This is going to work pretty well with our build. We have 3 different melee charges, so we can proc this pretty easily, and that just gives us extra damage to all our weapons. It's a 25% damage increase, so it's definitely going to be pretty nice. And the final fragment is going to be the Facet of Purpose, which is going to give us Frost Armor whenever we pick up some Orb's power. And Frost Armor is just pretty great, it's just extra damage resistance, meaning that we're going to be even tankier than we already are with something like the Facet of Protection. It's just going to easily just add more survivability just by picking up orbs. Now for the weapons, we're going to start first with our machine gun, the Thunderlord. And the reason that I went with the Thunderlord is not only because it's a really good just ad clean weapon, but it's also an arc weapon. so you can take advantage of a lot of the mods that are in the artifact that are all about blinding targets. So our Thunderlord is not only going to be really good at clear and also at stunning champions, but it's also going to make a bunch of Ionic Traces, it's going to blind targets, and also it's going to be doing more damage against targets affected by stasis. Now for your special weapon, I'm going to once again recommend the Lost Signal. This is the grenade launcher from last season, so hopefully a lot of you guys have it. And the main job of this thing is going to be to apply those debuffs. So because of that, I definitely recommend that you get one with auto loading holster. You basically just pull it out, shoot it at the bigger enemies, put a debuff on them, put it away, use your other weapons, and when you need it again, over you reload it. The main purpose of this weapon, it is just going to be to apply that debuff, but you can definitely fire it into a group of enemies and it'll do pretty well. Now for your primary, I want to recommend an arc pulse rifle. And it doesn't really have to be this one. I decided to go with this one, the one from last season. But the one from this season that we all been getting also works pretty well. That one has jolting feedback in this slot instead of bolt shot. And you can also get one with bolt shot as well. So whether it's bolt shot or jolting feedback, as long as you get an arc pulsar with one of those perks, it's pretty much gonna be pretty good. And since this is an arc weapon, just like the Thunderlord, it's gonna be able to take advantage of the seasonal mods, meaning that it's gonna be doing more damage to stasis affected targets, as well as being able to blind things by just hitting some precision hits, which is also pretty nice. Now for the artifacts that we're wearing here, we're pretty much wearing like some stasis ones, some arc ones, and of course the grenade launcher ones. But let's start with Kill Embrace. This is gonna improve your movement speed whenever you get some rapid weapon kills. This one's just pretty good. It just makes going around feel a little faster. Trace Evidence is gonna be another good one. Rapid precision hits or rapid final blows on targets that are jolted or blinded will generate Ionic Traces. And this is the one that we're actually gonna boost, so whenever we pick up an Ionic Trace, we're gonna get some armor charge. And the next one's pretty much related to the last one, which is Retinal Burn. Rapid arc weapon precision hits consume an armor charge to blind the target, and whenever we boost it, it essentially changes that blind to an AoE blind, so it doesn't just blind one enemy, it's gonna blind that enemy and pretty much all the enemies around them. And then when you defeat those blinding targets, you proc Trace Evidence, which gives you some Ionic Traces, and these Ionic Traces give you armor charge that then you can turn into blinding more enemies. These two perks basically work with each other to just pretty much give you non-stop blinds. We're also going to have Concussive Reload, so we can apply the debuff with our grenade launcher. That's going to be really good. And also Hilda Storm. Whenever we shatter some stasis crystals, it releases shards of ice that damage and slow targets. We're not really going to make as many crystals with this build as maybe we do some other ones, but this is still going to help us out and just put some more damage out there and also just more slows. The next one's going to be Brain Freeze, and this one's very important. Frozen combatants become surrounded by a chilling fog, which lulls combatants that aren't already. This pretty much makes any frozen enemy into a dust field, so they'll be able to like slow things around them. And lastly, we'll take a look at the mods that we're running on this build. First of all, for the helmet, we have Heavy Ammo Finder and Arc Siphon, so we can make some orbs, and also so we can get some more heavy ammo. For our gauntlets, we're going to have Impact Induction and 2 Momentum Transfers, so we can get our melee back faster and also our grenade back faster whenever we do each other's damage. Whenever we do melee damage, we get grenade energy, and whenever we do grenade damage, we're going to get some melee energy back. For the chest piece, we're just running some pretty standard resistances, so nothing really interesting there. For the boots, we're running Absolution, Orbs of Restoration, and Recuperation, so we can heal with orbs, and so we can also get our abilities back with orbs. And lastly, for our class item, we're going to have Reaper, so we can make some more orbs of power after casting our riff, and also so we can get back our melee energy, as well as our grenade energy, whenever we cast that rift as well. So, these are going to be the mods. Not they're super interesting on the mods, basically just increasing our ability uptime, so we can spam even more abilities. And with that, that's actually going to be the end of the build. Now the gameplay loop for this build is going to be pretty simple. You charge up your turret, you put it down, you proc your devourer, and then you just go to town on the enemies. And while you're doing that, you're going to be getting back your grenade thanks to your devourer, so you can throw another stasis turret and move over to that one if it's in a better spot. If there's enough ads, you can pretty much just keep having your stasis turrets up pretty much all the time, a couple of them actually. Or at the same time, you're constantly blinding them thanks to your weapons, so not only are they blinded, but they're also frozen and slowed. So you're gonna be a menace. You're gonna be able to really hold down just whichever area you choose. use like a one-man army, like I said at the beginning of the video. It is really fantastic, and this has to be like one of my favorite Warlock just exotic pieces of armor in a while. I can't really think of another one that I really liked as much as I like this one. But anyways, with that, we're gonna end today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, dislike if you didn't, subscribe to the channel in case you guys haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Like always, there will be a dim link in the description and also in the comments below if you guys want to check that out. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.